Welcome to our YouTube channel on success and women. Women helping women.
Come join us.
See you soon. Welcome to this week's episode of Success and Women. I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And before we get into today's episode, and you're going to love this, ladies, we're going to talk about how to reduce some of the stress out of your life by decluttering. So Andrew's going to give you the tip of the week.
Well, this tip has to do with decluttering, and it is for multi-purpose in almost every room. So, you know, when you go to the stores and you see those long behind the door shoe holders, they all have little pockets so you put your shoes. So they're not just for shoes. So if you get you can put them behind your bedroom door, your bathroom door, a kitchen door, the kids' playroom, and you hang them behind your door. In the bathroom, you can shove in your brushes, your curling irons, your shampoos, your soaps. In the kitchen, you can put onions, your spoons and your large serving pieces. You can put your saran wrap, you can save so much drawer space by using that. And in the kids' playroom, in their own bedroom, all their toys, their little slippers, whatever. And there's at least 4 times 10, 3 or 30 little pockets. And you can fill them up and save yourself a lot of clutter and space.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially for the things that you use quite often, it's so organized. You know, going behind the door and, oh yeah, I need this, this. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Your brushes, your combs, your hairspray, your curling iron, they all fit. And I thought, wow, that is a great idea.
Actually, I have to do that in my condo in Toronto for my bathroom because it's really limited space. But I'm thinking now even there's some towels or smaller towels and face cloths that I can put in there along with the brushes and the curling iron and stuff that I use.
If you find that you have a lot of stuff out on the counter.
Well, I don't have much of a counter. That's the problem. Yeah. So everything's got to be tucked away in a little cupboard. And
even for teenage girls who have a lot of makeup and makeup brushes, it is fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah. So I thought that was really good for decluttering tip.
Yes. And so now we're going to get right into decluttering. And a lot of women that are going through a lot of stress don't realize that having a lot of clutter in your home and your office can actually help add to your stress level.
Definitely.
And by decluttering, you get to relieve some of that. And I have to tell you, I mean, I've been on a mission for a number of years to declutter. And even though I think I'm a minimalist, believe it or not, I still find a lot of things to get rid of. And then when my sister comes over, like she did, she's been spending the winter with me in Florida, she's actually been going through my cupboards and closets and, can I get rid of this? Can I get rid of this? I said, Nancy, whatever you want, it's fine. Because obviously if she's asking me, it's things that I don't need.
Right.
And I'm thinking, Andrea, I'm pretty good. She's finding more stuff that she goes, you don't need all this stuff. And I'm thinking I didn't have much, but
could you imagine my house? We kind of talked about this because recently when I went home and I had the bills from things that I had purchased here to bring home, I went to shove them in where I put all my bills in my top drawer in my bedroom, in my night table, and it's a long one. And it was like brimming with bills and papers, and I thought, okay, I have to do something about this. So I just pulled the whole drawer out, put it on the bed, and I'll tell you the amount of things I threw out. There was bills, from 6 months ago, like maybe from Costco or whatever. I know now whatever was on there, I don't have to return.
Yeah.
Or, so I chucked all of that in some old addresses and things like that. I put in my phone, because I'll get a letter or something. So I'll just rip it off because at that moment I don't have the time.
Yeah.
So I shove it in a drawer and then kind of forget about it. So I took everything, got it. Wow, it looks so nice. And like you say, it relieved that momentary stress that I had when I saw the drawer so
But
full.
even if you were trying to find a receipt,
Yes.
going through all of that would drive you crazy.
Exactly.
But one of the things that Nancy's really good, she's got a lot of time on her hands, but she thinks a lot and she researches a lot. And one of the things that she's always saying is that, you know, take a picture. So instead of keeping all those receipts and maybe even an address, you don't always have time to
and
to
that's
put it
where,
in.
and that's okay, Linda. Now that's going back to our last episode about embracing change.
Yes.
And that will help you even with your decluttering because, as a matter of fact, when I mentioned about recipes, I own probably every food magazine out there. When I go on a trip or airport, I just pick up a whole bunch. I had cookbooks galore. Companies coming, I probably have every episode. And so I had boxes and boxes and boxes of cookbooks.
Wow.
But then when I finally got online and realized that I could find any recipe, anytime, anywhere, any time of the day, and I just had to Google it in. I didn't have to go looking through all my books.
Yep.
That was it. So I got rid of all those books. The magazine's gone, the book's gone, and I kept a few books that are maybe teaching ones or learning ones that I wanted to keep, maybe want to pass on from a mother or whatever. But the rest of them, I donated them, and I have a friend in Mississauga that collects them for the charity, and they do the book fairs in the spring. They go to all the malls, and the money goes to charity. So I gave him some, and so that decluttered so much of my space in my house, and I had them in shelves and drawers and cupboards, boxes. And it also probably, and you know, I've moved so many times, it probably saved a lot of men's backs because those boxes were heavy and I would have 10 or so maybe, you know. So there we go. There's where everything connects.
It does.
It connects, and you see where embracing the future will help you in your today life.
When I moved from the house to the apartment, I had boxes of books. Lots, not cookbooks, but I'm always into personal growth and whatever. I had all kinds of books. Some I read, and some I had tried to read, and they weren't, you know, really that interesting to
Captivating.
They weren't.
No.
They didn't capture me, so I never got through them. But I thought if I didn't then, I'm never going to read them now.
No.
And that's what I did. I donated a whole whack of books because just because it doesn't interest me doesn't mean it won't interest somebody else.
Absolutely.
But I kept one box of books that are books that I think personally are ones that did make a difference in my life, do make a difference, and they would be books that I would want to read at some point in the future again, or loan to somebody that might want to read these books because they were very meaningful to me. But I went from boxes and boxes of books because I wasn't going to store them.
Yeah, you didn't have the space.
Down into one box of books that I felt are most important to me.
So good when that was all cleared up.
But I have to tell you, because you know, I was never into cooking when I was married. My husband did all the cooking, but I think it was either at my bridal shower or for a wedding gift. I got the Betty Crocker. I think it's red and white cover, and I think it's like a 3-ring binder type of cookbook.
I had it.
Well, that's the only cookbook that I keep in my kitchen. I've always kept it. I've always referred to it when I'm making something different, even though I know I can go online. And sometimes what I do is go online and also look at that recipe just to compare.
Right.
But it was the one, because when you said about a learning cookbook, that to me was a learning cookbook.
Right.
It even has the measurements at the back, and it went from, I'll say, you know, like
metric,
yes, metric to the other,
English,
and so I could always go back to that.
Imperial.
And again, I could go online. I know that, but like you said, there's just something that's meaningful.
Some are meaningful and they're passed down, or your very first cookbook.
Well, that's really what it is. So when I had to start learning how to cook, I actually referred to that book a lot.
Right.
But again, when you're decluttering, you don't have to get rid of absolutely everything. You have to get rid of things that you really don't need to have around you that really is stressing you out because you see it. You can't even clean your house properly if you have so much stuff for the dust and everything else.
Right. And there you go with the dust and whatever. for health benefits. It helps you with your allergies, asthma. It might be causing you all kind of breathing issues, just to have all that clutter and that mess. And like we say, you don't have to do it all in one day. You just, like I said, I did that one drawer and I felt fantastic. Now,
and
when
that's
I
a
go
good
back,
start to do.
Yeah, exactly. When I go back, I do it on a regular basis, decluttering things. But I'll think of. I think it was in last Christmas. I did all the because the wrapping box and card boxes got all. The kids go through it and I went through it, got rid of stuff I knew I wasn't going to use, an old ribbon, a little piece of ribbon, so just little bits like that. But if you have a home that's very cluttered, like your living space, it can be very stressful.
Overwhelming too.
Overwhelming. You don't want to invite friends over. You don't want them to see your mess.
Yeah.
So it makes you feel socially held back or
which we talked about.
Disabled,
it's not healthy. You have to be social.
Yeah.
And if you feel uncomfortable or embarrassed inviting people over because you have so much clutter, then maybe it's time now to look around and just start.
And here's a few things we can suggest to maybe start you off. Like we said,
get your feet wet.
Get your feet wet. Like Linda and I did the drawer, some of your bedroom drawers, and the books. The books are number one, I think. Recipe books and old books. Like, just
people have a lot of those.
They do.
Yeah.
Go through them and decide which are meaningful to you, and the rest donate, because somebody else will get enjoyment out of it.
Right. But Andrea, it's funny because I was over at someone's house one day and oh my God, there wasn't anywhere to sit because magazines, newspapers, books,
that sounds like a hoarder.
Well, you know what? And they do say that 2.5% of Americans are hoarders. I don't know what it would be in Canada, but it's probably along the same line, 2.5%. I happened to go into one of those homes of a 2.5%, and let me tell you, I mean, they were like trying to move stuff off a chair seat just so I could sit down.
Yeah, that's not.
I mean, it's not. I don't know how uncomfortable it was for them, but it was uncomfortable for me.
Definitely.
To even experience that, because I was like, again, I thought I was a minimalist, and I'm not as much as I thought because I still have too much stuff that I don't use and don't need.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, work on that. But when you go into homes and if you look around and you find like, okay, why am I hanging on to this? Because sometimes hanging on to those old things, Andrew, because you can't part with it, you want to hold on to a life that you can't get back, but it's holding you back from moving forward in the future.
You don't have control.
No.
Right.
I think you do lose control, having all that stuff.
Yeah. Another place to start would be like in your bathroom. How many of us have 10 tubes of lipsticks or broken eyeshadows? I mean, just throw them out. They can't be healthy for you. And I mean, I know people that hang on to lipstick for years and years and years because maybe they don't use it that often. But it's not healthy because if you've had a cold or you've had a cold sore and you use the lipstick at that time, you don't know what's hanging on to that thing. Get rid of it. It's old.
Well, even this year, and I thought I'm going to do this in January for sure. When you were saying about cleaning your drawer regularly, I think I'm going to clean out my makeup bag regularly and then chuck it all. But what I've started to do now is I date how long I've had something. So my mascara, I put the date on it so I know if it's been in my makeup bag because I haven't really used that particular one because I've always got several of them in there and it's just there and the one didn't want to use it. It could be a couple years old if I don't start getting rid of it. And again, like Andrew said, you could have bacteria and stuff on it that's going to cause you a problem. It could be an infection or something else. Get rid of that stuff. But when you start doing that, it's going to be easier for you to look around your home, look around your bedroom, look around your kitchen, your living room. What are things that are just kind of there that you don't need to keep? Because again, You don't need it, but it could be a treasure to somebody else.
Right.
And people are looking for donations to, you know, raise money for different charities,
Right.
all kinds of stuff. You're doing something else that's good for somebody else, but you're doing something good for your mental health.
Exactly.
I just think that
Like we and
decluttering.
decluttering. Like we have, and I know people think that you know it has to be like new or whatever, and always that's good. And another thing, going back to one of our episodes, when we were talking about great women, Mother Teresa said, "Don't always just give away what you've worn. Buy a few new pieces and give them away in the
nice.
charity bag. Don't always have to be your hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
You know, buy a few new things, new socks, new you know, underwear, whatever. At least it's something new that maybe they've never had." But I was going to say, there's a charity in Mississauga, and it's Dr. Simone, and I think I've talked about him before. But he only brings truckloads or shipping containers to third world countries. So they'll even take candles that are half
Oh, yeah.
burnt. So that's another thing to get rid of.
Yeah,
when
because,
you look around your house, you got so many, half this, half that, and then you go and you buy a new one, and those ones get. I opened a drawer when I was going to Dr. Simone's, and I read the list. I opened one cupboard in my coffee table, and there must have been 10 half-used candles. I just took them all out and put them in there, and I found an old bag of matches from when we used to travel and stuff, you know, you souvenir.
Yeah.
I just threw that in there, and when I went there, I said, "Do you want?" Oh, she said, "Yes, yes, yes, yes," and because they can use them.
Well,
They
definitely,
appreciate-
yeah. They would have a lot more, I think, power outages on some of these
They don't
countries.
even have electricity.
Well, some of them don't,
Yes.
but even when they
Yeah.
do, it's not consistent like what
Right.
we have in the city here. But you know, the thing is, Andrea's talking about a charity that they do this in Mississauga. In any of your towns, you
Right.
can look around, because usually there's somebody or some organization that's doing the same thing in your own city that you can donate this stuff to. Because we're not expecting you to ship it all to Mississauga, but
No.
but you look around in your community
always,
on where
always.
you can donate
Go
these things.
online and
Yes.
just Google and, well, you know, places that they take used or lightly used. And so anyways, then you can go through your cupboards and look for, and I'm sure you have some of this, expired food. You know, you buy and you shove in the back. And the last time I moved, I was, you know, going through the cupboards packing. Oh my goodness, what I didn't find in the back. You know, expired this, expired that, and 2 years old. I'm going, what? I didn't even know that was there. So getting rid of old food can help clear up some space in your
But you know,
kitchen.
one of the things too, just because it's on sale doesn't mean you have to buy
Buy
it,
it.
because it's not a sale if you don't use it and don't
Exactly.
need it. And that's really what
Exactly.
happens.
That's true, Linda.
You know, we buy and we stock up because it's on sale. We've spent the money, we saved so much, and then really it goes in the garbage because
Yes.
it's expired. It's not even like, you know, where you've got maybe another year or so that you can donate at least, because if you're not going to eat it, somebody else could eat
Yeah.
it. But I'm finding when I moved, I found things that were 2 years past the expiry.
I know.
I'm not taking a chance. I'm not giving it away for anyone.
somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
But what sale did I save money on? I didn't.
You didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just cluttered up my cold storage too.
And you know, it is always nice to get new things, like go through your pillows. Like, we have closets full of old pillows. Like, just get rid of them. Old towels with holes in them. Nowadays, you can buy things so cheap, really. Like I was telling Linda, I always have hand towels in my bathroom, my husband's, and every other day I change them. And they were getting so old and ratty, and every time I took them out of the dryer, okay, one more day. But it was bringing me down, you know, and I had some of them. So I was in Costco one day, and they had a big pack like this, 10 beautiful white hand towels. I bought them, so I took the old ones, I cut them up for rags. And now it makes me feel good. You know, I'm happy that I did that. So
I bet you have the same thing with your, wherever you keep your tea towels. I have a drawer
Exactly.
for them, but the
Same
thing is,
thing.
you know, you probably have some of these old and stained and whatever, and even though they're clean because you've washed them,
Right.
you know, sometimes just get rid of them. And you don't need as many because a lot of people
Right.
now have dishwashers. They're not washing and drying dishes like
Right.
in the old days when you
Right.
needed to go through a lot of those.
Exactly.
And maybe you can get rid of them. And even if you do, just to make yourself feel better,
Feel better.
buy a nice spring, you know, tea towel
Yes.
or something for Easter. You know,
Yeah.
it just brightens up the whole kitchen, but it lifts your mood.
Yeah. Another thing, your jewelry box. I went a couple years ago through my jewelry boxes, and I had a lot of costume jewelry that I was able to get rid of. But I also found lots of odds and end gold pieces, little thin bracelets that we used to wear. And I
Yeah.
had one gold hoop I had lost years and years ago, but I still had the matching one. I don't know. I guess I thought I was going to find it somewhere. And some other gold earrings that I know I would never wear again. But anyways, and you know, I gathered them up and brought them to a place where they buy and sell gold.
Yeah.
And I got a pretty penny for that.
I did.
Bunch of
That you weren't
odds
using.
and ends,
Yes.
yeah, that I would never use. So, and it cleared up my jewelry box,
Yep.
and I didn't have to look at those pieces and keep wondering, where is that earring?
It's
So
true.
there's benefits.
But also, I think as you get older, you usually wear you have a few pieces of your favorite stuff.
That's
So
right.
you don't need to be buying a lot. I was saying to Andrea the other day, you know, when you're young, you want to accumulate a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But as you get older, and if you talk to a lot of older people, they're going to tell you they don't need a lot of stuff anymore. They don't
That's
use
right.
a lot of stuff. And so now it's kind of like you keep, and when you talked recently, Andrea, on one of the episodes about the 80-20%,
Right.
that's really what happens in most of the stuff in your house. You've
Right.
got 20% of all of your stuff that you use on a regular basis. The other 80% is just there, collecting dust mostly.
Right.
You know, taking up space and stressing you out when you don't even need it. Because if somebody came and just took away all of your stuff and you came home to this very empty house of all the stuff you needed, but not all the stuff that you want, it would actually be pretty liberating.
I think so.
And I don't really think you'd miss it because you wouldn't really remember all the stuff that was gone.
You know, I always said to Eddie, wouldn't it be lovely on one of these moves to not bring any of this
Anything.
stuff? Just leave it, throw it out, and just start over.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What about this? What about it? Because my husband's a little bit of a pack rat. But I just thought, yeah, it would be just the things that really, you know, the kids' school pictures and stuff. But other than that, I have so much stuff, and I don't know where it's going to go, but it's good stuff, and I'm hoping my daughters will take some, but it's not like it used to be.
No.
We used to love getting things passed down and furniture from our parents or grandparents, but my kids are like, I don't want that. Where am I going to put that? I don't want that. They don't want all the clutter.
No, but you know what? Even with that, they want to again accumulate their own stuff in their
yeah.
own style and in their own time.
Right.
Which is what we all did. Even though, yes, I would have gladly. My mom didn't have anything to hand back down, but at that time,
Yeah.
I mean, because I remember starting with cardboard boxes for my night tables,
Right.
because I didn't have the money to buy, you know, real
Right.
furniture. And I started with
You've
very
come
little.
a long way, baby.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is, I also accumulated a lot of stuff
Yeah.
along the way that now I'm realizing it's not that important.
No.
You know, I don't want to be surrounded by stuff. I want to be surrounded by friendship and family
That's right.
and the stuff that actually means something, because all of this other stuff is just taking up space and stressing. I'm going to say me, I can't speak for you, but even though I don't have as much stuff as I used to, I still have things to get rid of.
Right.
And I'm going to keep on looking out for things that I can donate, because I know it'll be good in somebody else's hands and home. And my sister, you know, while she's been here in Florida, going through my cupboards, not just organizing, but getting rid of the stuff that she's seeing that we haven't been using
Right.
the whole winter that she's been here.
Right.
And it's like, it's fine. You can get rid of it because I know it's all really good stuff. I won't be replacing it because
Right.
I don't need more. And but somebody else will get the benefit of that, which I'm
right.
really happy about. So, and we found a neighbor that takes in all this stuff because they have a charity, and all of the stuff that they get donated all goes towards breast cancer.
Wonderful.
So I'm really happy about that because my own younger sister had breast cancer, and of course and in your family, yes, your sister, and of course my neighbor, also had breast cancer, and it's very meaningful to us to know that that's where they're raising the money. So your good stuff that you're not needing and really wanting anymore can be going to benefit somebody else.
Think about that when you're decluttering.
Yeah.
When you're thinking, oh, I don't want to, just think about where it's going and
who it's helping in a sense, in general.
Who it's helping. So ladies, if you want to get rid of some stress in your life, that's a good place to start.
It is. And ladies, also make comments if you found ways to help other ladies that you can share in the decluttering and how you got started or what you did. Please share that with people because we all want to know. And even with Andrea and I, we do it on a regular basis. We're constantly looking for more ways to declutter. Actually, if you can come up with more charities that are taking stuff, that's okay too.
Share that with each other.
Yes.
It's a good place to start.
It's good.
Yeah.
Women helping women. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
So until next week, I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And we hope that you
like,
share,
and subscribe.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.